Hey, what up? It's Lex. It is Monday, November 18th, 2019. In today's video, I want to go over my 3 trades I executed and completed today. There were two swing trades and 1 day trade, and I went 3 for 3. All 3 of them were over 100% gains. One of them, the highest one, the day trade, was actually 169% gain. So I want to go over those 2 trades. It was Netflix was my overnight, as well as two Facebook calls overnight, and then a Facebook day intraday day trade. So I'm going to go over all 3. And before I do, I just want to talk about the markets. I've been continuing to just buying dips. Buying dips is the key right now in the market, because the market keeps going to all-time highs. The overall markets are going to all-time highs, and a lot of the key top stocks, like FANG stocks, like these 2 tickers I traded today, Netflix, Facebook, Apple, AMD, Roku, Microsoft, a bunch of stocks are hitting new highs, all-time highs, 52 weeks highs, and the market just keeps on ripping up higher. So I've been buying dips on laggers. Okay, laggers that are stocks that have not been hitting 52-week highs or all-time highs, that have been lagging behind the markets and are trying to catch up now. And Netflix was a good example of that. And not only that, but these also beat their earnings. So I've just been waiting to kind of dip by them after the earnings. If you watched my last video about Facebook, I bought that one after earnings, after consolidated, after it beat earnings, and then made some good amount of gains on that. And then I rebought that today in the dip, and I'll explain why after the Netflix. So Netflix, if you look here, after the earnings, it had good earnings, it beat revenue, and it got a higher EPS. It sold off just because all these traders were building up a position prior to earnings. So I was waiting for it to kind of dip back up and consolidate, and I was looking for it to get back over all the moving averages, which it did 2 days ago. And then once it got over 2 days ago, after it got over the moving averages, I was waiting for this little break of this little neckline here around 293. As you can see here, there's been some resistance between 293, 294. So after so Friday is when I was anticipating this trade. So if we go down to the 15-minute, you can see I bought this breakout here when it actually hit over that 290 to around, I think it was 292.80. So right before 293, it broke this neckline. That's when I entered my my first position of 2 calls of the 312.5 strike price, which was the following week, which is going to be this Friday, November 22nd. So as soon as I bought that, I was in green all day. And as I bought this trade, there was rumors circulating that some big players were taking a stake in Netflix, and the 2 people are Carl Icahn or Bill Ackman. But we don't know yet. That is speculation. However, there was a couple increased stakes on Thursday. It was noted there was 13F from, let me see if I can find it. Oh yeah, Lone Pine Capital, 13F shows 2.3 million share stake in Netflix. So that's a good catalyst. That's a big player buying a lot of shares in Netflix at its current price. So that was news, and also the technical breakout is why I bought this trade after earnings. And it spiked up today in pre-market Monday, right out of the gate, So it was in the green pretty much this whole trade. I was up a little over 107%. So I like to start off my weeks, in the green. Let's see, what did I get it for? Yeah, it was 109% gain. My entry was 62 cents, and I sold it at $1.30, and I sold it pretty much right in the first 30 minutes of the trade. So that was a nice solid 109%. You got to take a profit on a Monday first thing out of the gate, get your confidence up. 100% gain is a pretty good gain. So that was my first trade. And I'm also going to be looking to maybe buy this on pullbacks, just like I've been doing with my Facebook trades. So now, Facebook, if you saw my last video, I've been really watching this to start some positions, because this has been a huge lagger, and it's a good company overall, fundamental wise, and it's been starting to form a trend here, as you can see from October 2nd, its last low. It's been in an uptrend of higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, right? And this was also an earnings winner. So after it beat earnings, it sold off, and then I waited for for it to consolidate. And on last Wednesday, I had my first position, which it actually was a quick buy, overnight trade, swing trade, and I sold it the next morning. You can watch that video on my list. And that spiked due to the Facebook pay. And I'm not going to talk about that because it's my last video. That was the first catalyst. But also you had this technical breakout where it was just consolidating, and all these other stocks were hitting new all-time highs, and Facebook hasn't. It's still not even on its 2019 high. Never mind last year's high of 218. So that was another reason why it was a good technical breakout, and you had the catalyst of the Facebook pay news. So if we look at this intraday, when I had my first position, when I bought 2 Facebook calls for the 2025 strike price, that was on Friday, after it was starting to break the neckline from the last high from where I sold the previous trade. And if you also look here, you can see a little mini head and shoulders, right? You can, on this 15-minute chart, you can see I kind of drew it out here, the neckline and the left shoulder, the head, and the right shoulder. It's a mini head and shoulders on the uptrend. You can say, if you look at this whole last 15 days, you can see a huge inverse head and shoulder, where you can see a left shoulder here, a head here, and then a right shoulder here. So it's almost like a inverse head and shoulders within an inverse head and shoulders on an uptrend. So technically this is very, very bullish. So Thursdays, I entered my first position. Friday entered my first position, and then this morning, after it hit highs in the pre-market, it sold off right away in the morning. People took profits, but that did not scare me, didn't shake me out, and I actually added on the dip. And I actually went further out to next week's 11/29 lower strike 200 call, and I bought that dip right before it hit the 9 on the sequential. And that happened to be a really good dip buy. And once it broke out of the 30-minute opening range, it was pretty much off to the races. This really ripped, and it ended the day up a little over 2%. And I sold both calls, my swing from Friday and my day trade from this morning. And I took profits on the first one. I sold around when it hit 197, because it was facing some overhead resistance on the daily right here. That was my first position I took profits on, and that was a nice 107% gain for plus 59. And then my intraday day trade of my 200 strike price, I sold it once that hit 197.90, right before it hit 198. I didn't want to get greedy. I had 3 solid trades today, all over 100%. I didn't want to get greedy, and I noticed this was hitting resistance at the 198 price from that last high on October 30th. So that was 169% gain on that trade. So I know I left some on the table. I could have gone up another $1, but I'm not going to get greedy, especially in this market where there's headline tweets from the president that can move the markets 10 to 20 handles on the ES. But overall, that was a solid, easy, stress-free day trade as well as swing trade. All 3 trades were over 100%. The Netflix trade was 109%. The Facebook swing from Friday, 107%. And the Facebook day trade from today, 169%, for a total of $249 in profits. So it was a pretty good Monday. So I'm starting the week off right. And this market keeps going higher, so it's hard to chase. So I'm looking for dip buying strategies on stocks that are lagging the overall markets, meaning they haven't hit all-time highs or 52-week highs. That's what I'm looking for on these trades. So anyway, hope you like this video. Please check out the previous video I made on Facebook from Friday. It's right here, and I have a bunch of other videos They're also broken down to playlists of post-trade analysis, live day trades, educational, etc., etc. Anyway, have a great day. I'll talk to you soon. Take care.